This is episode 3 of the Becoming Podcast, built from failure with your host, Rogelio Diaz. And before we get into it, if you're watching this and you feel like you're a failure, I want you to know that not only you are not, that you never were, right? Today's topic is titled Why You Still Don't Feel Good Enough and How Childhood Powerlessness Became Self-Sabotage. In many ways, we're all just repeating childhood emotions that have been suppressed or repressed, and we don't even know they're playing out. That's the crazy part. You don't even know that, like Pinocchio, they're pulling you like a puppet on strings left and right. And there's this scene in Pinocchio where he realizes that, or he becomes a boy, and he says, "I was so foolish when I was a puppet." Right? Like when you don't even know that your childhood trauma, that all these negative beliefs about yourself are pulling you left and right. You do foolish things, right? You don't know your worth. You don't know that you're good enough. You don't know who you really are, right? And that's the thing, bro. Like I'm hoping by the end of this podcast episode, you're gonna realize why you feel that you weren't good enough, why there's that self-sabotage still there, right? Why maybe you felt powerless as a kid. And you're gonna see the truth. You're gonna see the truth in who you are and how powerful you are and who you came here to be and your what your full potential can actually be if you overcome all these things that have been holding you back, that all these internal wars that you've been having with yourself, you've been losing against your older self. Like it's crazy what happens once you wake up to this, bro. And I, as a kid, I had all these emotions of, again, not feeling good enough, of helplessness, of powerlessness, and a big majority of that originated from getting bad grades in school. I remember I used to hate report card day. I hated it. I couldn't understand why I wasn't quote unquote smart enough as the other kids, right? Why I couldn't just study or get a concept so easily as the other kids. And that's what I was trying, right? So who knows what came up with that? Like I try and it still ain't enough, right? Why even bother if I'm gonna give it my all and still get D's and F's and C's, right? Like there's so many things that we recreate from, again, seemingly small events like that. And we don't know as a child, like, that we're different and we learn different and there's different ways to learn and we just think we're dumb. And I remember trying so hard to get good grades, and my parents sent me to a Catholic school. And I mean, I went to a Catholic school my whole life. They were paying a good amount for that, right? So they had every right to expect good grades or, for me to do well. But when I didn't, my mom, my dad, they would be furious. And I hated report card day because I would come home. I would even try to hide it sometimes or hope they would forget. I would come home and I knew what was coming. I knew their reaction. I knew that they were gonna. I remember my mom would break down. I remember being in the kitchen table, my mom looking at my report card just with disappointment, just upset. And I remember the guilt, the shame of just being there and seeing them, like, why am I such a failure, right? Why, like, I can't even put those words together at the time, but like, why don't I just get it? And the truth is, I wasn't meant for that system, bro. Maybe you relate too. You probably think outside of the box. You probably don't want to live that regular 9 to 5 life, right? Maybe you're an entrepreneur. Maybe you have a dream. You have a bigger vision than what your parents. I mean, if it was up to my dad, I'd be a bus driver right now, right? Like, and I went to college mainly because of my parents too. Right? I got my associates in arts that it's nicely packed away over here. Like maybe you relate to this. I was told what to do my whole life, and once I actually started to wake up and be like, whoa, 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 I don't want to be a bus driver. I don't want to work at UPS the rest of my life. I don't want to, I don't want to just get a regular 9 to 5 my whole life. And for some people, that brings fulfillment and joy, and that's all right. But bro, I knew I was an entrepreneur since high school, right? Like or not even, no, not even before high school. I did a business program, a summer program before high school, selling candy bars and just chips and little things, like learning the fundamentals about business in 8th grade. And I loved it. I loved it, man. And it's just like, because you can't memorize and learn stuff that the system gives you, you think you're dumb. You think there's something wrong with you. And that's a whole other thing right there, too. But so what did I do? I kept recreating these emotions growing up, right? feeling like I'm a disappointment, feeling like I'm a failure, feeling like I'm always doing something wrong, like I'm never good enough, right? The powerlessness, the no matter how much I give it, I try, it doesn't work out. Like all these things, but you know how much they affect you? Like especially if you're unaware. But once I became aware and I created a whole process for my clients from having my own process, I called it the truth process because I found the truth. When I actually started to question these beliefs and I started to go into it, I found everything that was completely contradicting to that belief that I wasn't enough, that I wasn't a failure. And I remember writing down, bro, I'm like, if I was a failure, would I have gone and done this? If I wasn't enough, would I have helped this many people? Right? If I wasn't, and even that's a little more externalizing, but I remember at the end of that, I'm like, how can I still believe this? Right? It was silly. By the end of doing the process, it was silly to even still fathom that I wasn't enough, that I was a failure. That, again, that was created through childhood experiences and my parents and also that like you gotta stop chasing your parents' validation. You're always gonna lose. It's a lose-lose game, bro, right? When you live by their rules and what for my parents, you got to make X amount of money, or don't even do it, bro. Don't even try. What's the point? Like when I was building up my business early on, because my mom didn't see the external results, it didn't count. it didn't matter how happy I was. It didn't matter how fulfilled I was. It didn't matter how much fun I was having, and actually doing something that I loved. Didn't matter because they only cared about the external material stuff, and it would trigger me, it would irritate me so much, but I had to learn to let go and understand that their happiness was not my happiness and their fulfillment was not my fulfillment. And I'm a purebred entrepreneur, bro. That's just who I am. And I love that, right? I love taking the risk. I love getting the reward. I love being of service. Like you got to choose for you. Or like, how people go to become a doctor or a lawyer because what their parents wanted them to be. They didn't even get to choose their life. They didn't even get to choose their purpose. It's given to you, bro. You just believe it. Here, believe this, do this, right? Like, I'll be damned. I'll be damned, man. But, and that because I didn't want my parents' rejection, right? Because I had this helplessness or felt like I wasn't enough, it created low self-worth as well. And I don't know, I go back and forth with that term low self-worth because, when you don't know your worth, you're definitely going to get taken advantage of. And I think there's a key thing right there. Like maybe it's not that you have low self-worth. Maybe it can be both, right? But maybe it's more that you don't know your true worth. That's why you can't act on it. But for me, that rings more true. And like it doesn't always look obvious either. The low self-worth, bro, it doesn't always look obvious. Like even though it shapes your identity and it shapes all these things in your life, but it can be hidden in people pleasing, in overthinking, in perfectionism, staying stuck, keeping yourself exactly where you're at, right? Or your old self just pulling you and keeping you in those old ways to make sure you don't progress. It can be even tolerating less, right? Just literally tolerating less, man. Like or constantly doubting your own power. Low self worth can come out in these ways. Like one of the most impactful things a mentor told me was Roy on a coaching call. Or no, it wasn't. I had a coaching call. No, it was on a video. He said, powerful, bro. Don't let anybody mistreat you or don't tolerate any BS from anybody. You're powerful. That spoke to my heart. That spoke to my soul because at that time, I didn't know that. I'm like, who am I? Dude, I'm trying to teach people stuff, living at my parents, had imposter syndrome. I didn't know I had this caffeine addiction, taking three caffeine tablets a day. Who am I? Who am I? Right. And hearing those words from someone that believes in you, I wish it would have came more from my parents, but sometimes that's how it goes, bro. But hearing those words, like it connects you to yourself. I'm telling you, powerful. Can you see it? Can you believe it? That's why I started off this episode too. Like, you believe you're a failure, you're not. You've never been. You've been told, or not even. You've been conditioned to believe that unconsciously, and your mind. That's the belief it developed through different experiences and the meaning that you gave to those experiences. You're like, oh well, this business didn't take off when I thought it would. Oh, I'm a failure, right? Oh, I got bad grades. I'm a failure. Like it's crazy. We'll find anything to fuel that story, right? Like, but it's all a lie. It's all a lie. Another thing I wanted to touch on was I once heard this story about a baby elephant, and I feel like there's a lot of us can see ourselves in this, right? You know how they train elephants in the circus to stay where they're at? You know, once they pin the nail in there, right? They start when they're a baby, and they put an actual like a metal pin or metal nail in the concrete, right, in the ground, and they put a rope tied to the little baby elephant's leg, and they train it that no matter how hard and how much this baby elephant pulls, it is never going to be able to escape. They do that for years, bro. That's how they train and condition the baby elephants to stay. Because when they're older and they're big and they're strong, they put sticks, bro, in the ground. And the elephant doesn't even try. It remembers when it was a baby elephant, and no matter how hard it tried, it couldn't break off. And it was conditioned to just give up, not even try. What do you think's happened to you, bro? What do you think has happened to us, right? You go through so many life experiences and disappointments and thinking that it should have gone this way, even though we're not that smart, bro. Like there's a higher plan, right? We don't really know how it's gonna play out. And honestly, like, it doesn't matter how it's gonna play out as long as you get to where your dream is, you know? But you know how many of us have an invisible stick keeping us chained, keeping us where we're at, keeping us not even trying, not even taking a step to pull, right? Pull off that chain because of what's happened to us. Sad, man. We stay mentally trapped. We literally stay mentally trapped, and it's called learned helplessness as well, right? Like we have our own we learn how to limit ourselves too. We really do, bro. We learn how to limit ourselves, and that's the thing. Like there's so many adults, right, that are not even stuck anymore. Like you're not even stuck anymore, bro, but they're emotionally conditioned to believe they are. Isn't that crazy? It's like, bro, like snap out of it. You can do something today. Get what you need to get where you want to go, bro. Right? That could be a variety of different things. What is the next logical step? Want to make a YouTube channel? Bro, get the freaking YouTube app, right? Know what you want to talk about. Hit record the next logical step and the next step. Because it's you holding yourself. It's how it goes. But we can blame, we can point the finger, right? We can point the finger, but at the end of the day, it's on you. It's valid if you had stuff happen to you, but you can't let that be the reason why you fail the rest of your life. I'll be damned, bro. I'll be damned if I cap myself like that. Or any of my clients, you know? Nah, you're more, man. You are so much more. But, when you feel powerless as a kid, that's what creates self-sabotage because you connect that childhood powerlessness to adult procrastination. I had a client one time where he said, I procrast, he was a trainer and he did his thing. He had clients already. He was building, in the process of building his fitness, his online training business. And he's like, Roy, I procrastinate. I don't know why I procrastinate. And as we went deeper into all this in our sessions, he realized that that came from childhood, right? That he believed that since he was in childhood. And he found out, right, through going through this process that I took him through, he found out that it wasn't really procrastination that was the problem. It was two things: his fear of failure. He procrastinated because he was afraid to fail. He didn't want to feel that pain. And because he believed that he wasn't ready for the next level. At the end of the session, he realized that he was more than ready, more than equipped, that everything he thought disqualified him actually qualified him for that next level. Crazy, but once you actually dig and do some real inner work, how you see the truth. So that's the thing. We'll come up with 100 different reasons to protect us from pain, to protect us from the real feeling, right? Failure's a big one. Um, but and that's why we sabotage as well. And like, but if you're willing to heal, if you're willing to do work, bro, look at yourself, confront yourself, see the parts that you have been trying to not see, right? That you pretend to not see, you're gonna set yourself free. Truth will set you free. It really will, man. If you haven't checked out my truth process, it's for free in my free community, the Becoming Movement. Go ahead and check in the show notes, bro. There's a lot of other free tools and products there too that can really help you and just grow and evolve and become who you're meant to be. Create a reality that reflects your true potential. It's what you came here to do, bro. Why play small while you're here? Like give it everything while you're here. Give yourself a real chance. Like so many people sign themselves off sign themselves off without even really giving themselves a chance. It's often because they're just believing the story that they're telling themselves or that they're weak, like you're not weak, man. Right? Like you don't have to keep proving that you're strong by doing X, Y, and Z. You're living inside a story of your younger self that your younger self created to stay alive. I think we're going to finish this episode here. Guys, I would love to hear if this helped you, how it helped you. Well, drop a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. Send me a DM on Instagram at Rogelio Diaz Official. It'll be in the show notes as well. If you want to work one-on-one with me, let me know. Reach out again via Instagram. I would love to help you. 10 years ago, I was probably in the same spot you were. I don't know if you have any addictions, but I was an alcoholic. And I had no purpose. I was lost. Had no. I lost all my friends at that time. Yeah, two-step disc from working at UPS. Living with my parents. Felt like such a failure, man. Here we are 10 years later. I want to help you, bro. I want to help you see your real potential. I want to help you see what you can actually do if you give yourself a chance and you remove these things that are getting in the way and start healing, right? Because it ain't going away. These blocks, these feelings that you have about yourself that you keep pushing to the side, you're not willing to go into. This is what's gonna make you die with your dream. I think you can do it, bro. I think you can have a little courage to go into these things that happened to you in the past. Not all at once, little by little. And if you're ready for that, if you're ready to become who you're meant to be, if you're ready to create a life that matches how you feel internally, send me a DM, bro. I got you. All right. I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, guys, till next time.